A long time ago, in a small village called Ofiya, a story of suffering and overcoming began to unfold. This is the story of Amaka, a girl who knew pain from her first breath. On a day full of promises, Amaka was born. But instead of celebration, her birth brought sadness. Her mother lost her life in childbirth, leaving her alone in a world that seemed so relentless from the start. Her father, Moussa, filled with pain and uncertainty, decided to marry again, hoping to bring some joy back into his life and the life of his little daughter. Mariam, Moussa's new wife, seemed to be the answer to his prayers. But Mariam, with a heart as cold as stone, revealed herself to be a cruel stepmother. She despised Amaka and treated her like a servant. Mariam's daughter, was the center of her attention and received all the pampering and affection that Amaka never knew. Moussa, seeing the unfair treatment Amaka received, tried to intervene. However, Mariam's influence over him was too strong. She manipulated his actions and words, and Moussa, despite his love for Amaka, could not protect her. Years passed and Amaka grew up in an environment of constant pain and suffering. Each day was a struggle, each task a reminder of her position in the house. But despite everything, her spirit remained unbreakable. Even in the darkest situations, Amaka found strength in small things, the singing of birds, the gentle breeze on hot afternoons, and the rare kindness of some villagers. She knew that one day, her suffering could end. Amaka is an example of resilience and courage. Even in the face of adversity, she kept hope alive in her heart. Her childhood was marked by suffering, but her story was far from over. In every tear, there was a promise of a better future. In a small village called Ofiya, two sisters, Amaka and Awa, were called to an event that would change their lives forever. A selection at the palace to choose the future wife of the prince. This is the story of how Amaka and Awa faced challenges and discovered their true strengths. The announcement spread like wildfire. The prince of Ofiya was looking for a wife, and all the girls of marrying age were summoned to the palace. Amaka and Awa, despite their differences, were no exception. Mariam, as always, devoted all her attention to Awa, adorning her with luxurious dresses and sparkling jewelry. Amaka, on the other hand, had to make do with what she had, adjusting her simple clothes and finding strength within herself. The day of the selection arrived. With hearts full of anxiety and hope, Amaka and Awa, along with other girls, began their journey to the palace. For Amaka, this was an opportunity to change her destiny. For Awa, it was a chance to reaffirm her place of privilege. When they arrived at the palace, the girls were dazzled by the grandeur of the place. It was a world far removed from the reality of their village lives. Every detail of the palace seemed to whisper promises of a future filled with wealth and power. The selection was not based on beauty alone. The girls were subjected to tests of intelligence, skills, and character. Amaka, despite her simple attire, stood out for her kindness and intelligence. Awa, with her stunning beauty, attracted many eyes, but it was Amaka's humility that began to draw attention. The rivalry between the sisters grew. Awa, fearing she might lose the chance to become a princess, tried to sabotage Amaka. However, every obstacle Awa placed in Amaka's path only served to strengthen her determination and resilience. The prince, observing from afar, began to notice the difference between the candidates. Awa's beauty was undeniable, but Amaka's strength and purity shone in a unique way. He saw in her something he did not find in anyone else, a truly noble heart. The decisive moment arrived. The prince walked among the girls, his eyes passing over each one. When he stopped in front of Amaka and Awa, silence fell over the room. Everyone knew the decision would be made then and there. With a gentle smile, the prince took Amaka's hand. He announced his choice, surprising many. Amaka, the girl who had faced so many adversities, was chosen to be the future wife of the prince. Her kindness, resilience, and true noble spirit had won his heart. And so, against all odds, Amaka found her place in the palace, not for her looks, but for her soul. Awa, on the other hand, had to learn that true beauty comes from within. The selection not only chose a wife for the prince but also revealed the true qualities of each heart. When the news of the palace selection arrived, the village of Ofiya was filled with excitement. Amaka and Awa, among other girls, were chosen to participate. But at home, the reactions were very different. Mariam, the stepmother, gave all her attention to Awa. She believed that Awa was the only one worthy of being chosen by the prince. With careful hands, Mariam combed Awa's hair, picked the most beautiful dresses, and adorned her with the finest jewelry. Meanwhile, Amaka was relegated to hard work. Cleaning, cooking, washing clothes, there was no rest for her. Mariam spared no effort to keep Amaka busy, mistreating her with harsh words and endless tasks. The daily injustices were constant. Mariam did everything to make Amaka's life difficult, spilling dirty water on the floor she had just cleaned, giving her the heaviest chores, and demanding perfection in everything she did. But despite everything, Amaka did not give up. In the silence of the night, she looked at the palace in the distance and imagined a better life. She knew that the selection was her only chance to escape Mariam's clutches and prove her worth. Mariam trained Awa intensively. She taught her good manners, how to walk gracefully, speak softly, and smile charmingly. Awa, surrounded by luxury and attention, flourished under her mother's care. Amaka, on the other hand, prepared in her own way. At night, after all the work, she practiced speeches in front of a broken mirror, sewed her own dress, and tried to read by candlelight. She knew her inner strength was her greatest weapon. On the night before the departure, Awa slept peacefully in a luxurious bed, while Amaka, in a corner of the room, prayed silently. She asked for strength and courage to face the next day. On the morning of the departure, Mariam dressed Awa with all the care. Every detail was carefully considered. Amaka, on the other hand, wore her simple dress, but carried with her dignity and hope for a better future. And so, Amaka and Awa, along with other girls from the village, began their journey to the palace. For Amaka, every step was an affirmation of her strength and determination. For Awa, it was another step towards what she believed was her destiny. The palace, shining in the distance, was a symbol of hope and opportunity. Amaka knew that, despite injustices and challenges, she had a chance to change her destiny. And that chance was all she needed. And so, with hearts full of hope and determination, Amaka and Awa entered the palace, ready to face the challenges that lay ahead. Mariam, consumed by envy and ambition, reserved her care and affection only for her own daughter, Awa. For Amaka, there were only harsh words and exhausting tasks. Salima, a kind villager, observed Mariam's cruelty from afar. She saw the pain in Amaka's eyes and felt the injustice that permeated that household. Determined to do something, Salima began to plan a way to help the young girl. On market day, Salima encountered Amaka. With a warm smile, she offered fresh fruits and words of comfort. Slowly, Amaka began to trust her, finding in the villager a friend and confidant. Salima knew about the palace selection and believed that Amaka deserved a fair chance. In secret, she began to prepare the young girl for the big day. She taught her to walk gracefully, to speak clearly, and to maintain posture, preparing her to face the prince and his court. However, Mariam would not let Amaka live easily. On a decisive day, Salima confronted Mariam at the young girl's house. With courage and determination, she faced the cruel stepmother, demanding that Amaka be given the same opportunity as Awa. Mariam resisted, shouting and trying to prevent Amaka from leaving. But Salima stood firm, her heart full of justice and compassion. Salima's words echoed through the house, resonating a truth that could not be ignored. In a moment of bravery, Amaka decided to follow Salima. With tears in her eyes, she looked back one last time, leaving behind pain and suffering, and walked towards an uncertain but hopeful future. Salima and Amaka departed together for the palace. Each step was a challenge, but also a reaffirmation of their strength and courage. The palace, shining in the distance, represented a new opportunity for Amaka. Upon arriving at the palace, Amaka felt a mix of nervousness and excitement. Salima, by her side, whispered words of encouragement, reminding her that she deserved to be there as much as anyone else. With her head held high and a determined look, Amaka entered the palace. The journey was just beginning, but with Salima by her side, she knew she could face any challenge. Amaka and Awa, among many other young women, were received with great pomp at the palace. The grandeur of the place, with its resplendent halls and lush gardens, promised a new beginning and great challenges. Amaka, with her unwavering dedication and generous heart, quickly stood out among the competitors. Always ready to help, her smile was a balm to everyone around her. Her genuine kindness made her a favorite among the palace servants and instructors. Meanwhile, Awa, encouraged by her mother Mariam, followed a darker path. In secret meetings, Mariam provided her daughter with spells and potions, instructing her to sabotage her competitors. Soon, the first incidents began to occur. Competitors fell mysteriously ill, stumbled during training, and tension mounted. Awa, hiding her malice behind the facade of innocence, watched as her actions took effect. Even in the face of adversity, Amaka maintained her composure. When a competitor fell ill, she was there to offer help and encouragement. Her inner strength shone even brighter amidst the darkness. Salima, who had found a position in the palace to be close to Amaka, noticed Awa's suspicious behaviors. Watching carefully, she began to piece together the puzzle, realizing something sinister was at play. In a moment of courage, Salima confronted Awa, revealing the hidden spells and alerting the palace guards. The truth came to light, and Awa's intrigues were exposed. Awa and Mariam faced the consequences of their actions. Led away by the guards, they left the palace under the shadow of dishonor. Amaka, hurt by her sister's behavior, looked on with compassion, saddened by the path they had chosen. With the truth revealed, Amaka continued her journey in the palace. Her dedication and kindness did not go unnoticed, earning her the respect of the instructors and the special attention of the prince. In a grand ceremony, the prince chose Amaka as his future wife. The recognition of her kindness and resilience echoed through the halls, celebrating a young woman who, even in adversity, maintained her integrity. Life in the palace revealed the true hearts of Amaka and Awa. While one chose the light, the other succumbed to shadows. In the end, truth and kindness prevailed, showing that with courage and compassion, any challenge can be overcome. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to the channel and leave your comment. Until next time. The prince watched disappointedly, noticing the stark difference between Awa and Amaka. The decisive moment came when a competitor fell mysteriously ill. While other girls backed away, Amaka rushed to help, caring for the girl with dedication and kindness. The prince, observing this scene, felt a deep emotion. With a resolved heart, the prince decided to reveal his true identity. In a solemn ceremony, he removed his disguise, surprising everyone in the palace. Shock and surprise filled the hall. The prince approached Amaka, publicly praising her integrity and kindness. He told everyone about his secret observations, highlighting how Amaka's true essence shone through her actions. Awa and Mariam, for their dishonest deeds, faced the consequences. Under the prince's supervision, they were escorted out of the palace, carrying the shame of their intrigues. In a grand ceremony, the prince chose Amaka as his future wife. His heart, touched by Amaka's kindness and integrity, knew he had found the true gem among the candidates. Amaka's recognition was celebrated by everyone in the palace. Her journey, marked by perseverance and compassion, became an example for all. Amaka and the prince's story is a powerful reminder that a person's true essence is revealed through simple and sincere actions. May we always seek truth beyond appearances and value integrity above all. Amidst the luxury and intrigue of the palace of Ofiya, the final ceremony approached. A ceremony that would not only choose the prince's future wife but also reveal hidden truths and bring justice to light. The candidates were anxious, each hoping to be chosen. Amaka, with her humility and kindness, was among them, unaware that destiny held something grand for her. The prince, still disguised as the chief of the guards, watched attentively. His heart already knew the truth, but now was the moment to reveal his identity and make a decision that would change their lives forever. At the height of the ceremony, the prince ascended the stage. With a firm gesture, he removed his disguise, revealing himself to everyone. The whole fell silent, shock and surprise visible on every face. He called Amaka to the stage, praising her integrity, kindness, and courage. Before everyone, the prince recounted how he had observed her actions and how she had stood out for her pure heart. Next, the prince called Awa and Mariam. With a steady voice, he exposed their dishonest actions, revealing how they had tried to sabotage the other candidates. The two, ashamed, could no longer hide their malice. Humiliation was inevitable. Awa and Mariam, now dishonored, were escorted out of the palace by the guards. The murmurs of the crowd echoed, and justice finally prevailed. The prince then turned to Amaka. With a serene smile, he announced that she would be his future wife. The crowd erupted in applause, celebrating the triumph of justice and kindness. The palace filled with joy. The celebration was grand, marked by dances, laughter, and warm embraces. Amaka, now recognized for her true essence, was the center of attention, receiving affection and support from everyone. Amaka and the prince, united by truth and justice, began a new life together. Their hearts were intertwined by integrity and genuine love, ready to face the future side by side. Amaka's story is a testament that truth and kindness always prevail. May we all learn to value integrity above all else and believe that justice will always find its way. May this story inspire everyone to seek truth and kindness in every heart, and may we always recognize and cherish integrity in all its forms. As a new day dawned over Ofiya, Amaka and the prince walked together through the palace gardens, ready to confront challenges and build a future based on love and mutual trust. Amaka's legacy became an inspiration for all. Her dedication to helping the needy and her commitment to justice continue to strengthen the kingdom of Ofiya, leaving a positive impact that would endure for generations. May Amaka's story always remind us that, regardless of adversities, truth and kindness are the virtues that truly elevate us as human beings. May we follow her example and make the world a better place for everyone. And so, the story of Amaka and the Prince of Ofiya teaches us that in the end, it is the pure heart and the courage to be true that guide our destiny. Thank you for watching and allowing yourself to be inspired by Amaka's story. May her journey continue to illuminate us always. Thus concludes the emotional and inspiring journey of Amaka, highlighting her fight for justice and her victory through integrity.